Everyone thinks Pima County's market is cooling off, but the window buyers and sellers have right now might not stick around. Here's the data. Everyone's got an opinion on the market right now. It's crashing, it's booming, it's frozen. Take your pick. Somebody on social media is saying all three. So today, I just want to walk you through the actual June numbers for Pima County. No spin, no agenda, just what's happening in our market right now and what it actually means depending on which side of the deal you're on. Let's start with the number everyone wants to know: price. Median sale price in Pima County came in at $385,000 in June. That's down about 1.3% from a year ago. Before you panic, this is a normal seasonal cooling. We see this most summers. It's not a red flag, it's a rhythm. If you zoom out, prices are still up significantly from where they were even 3 years ago. This is a dip inside a much bigger climb, not a reversal of it. But here's where it gets interesting. Even with prices easing slightly, more homes actually sold. 1,065 homes closed in Pima County in June. That's up 4.5% from last year. Buyers are still very much out there and still very much active. That's actually the headline nobody's talking about. So if buyers are active, what does that mean for inventory? We're sitting at about 3.1 months of supply right now, with 3,329 active listings. That's still technically a seller's market. But buyers have noticeably more to choose from than they did during the frenzy a couple years back. And it's not even across the board. Anything under $300,000 is moving through inventory fast, under 3 months of supply. But once you get north of $500,000, that number climbs closer to 5 months. So where your home sits on the price spectrum really changes the conversation. New listings hitting the market in June were actually down slightly from May, about 1,279 new listings compared to over 1,500 the month before. So sellers who were going to list this summer, a lot of them already have. That's worth knowing if you're still deciding. And this next number is the one sellers really need to hear. Half of all active listings in Pima County have already taken a price cut. The average drop is around 6% off the original asking price. Pricing a home right on day one matters more right now than it has in years, because the market is telling us pretty clearly it doesn't forgive an overpriced listing the way it used to. So, what does all this actually mean if you're buying or selling? Homes are going under contract in a median of 33 days. That's quick by historical standards, but a little slower than last year, which tells you the market has some breathing room compared to 2021 and 2022. And here's a fun way to think about it. If you look at how long it takes a home to sell versus what price range it's in, homes under $200,000 are going in about 15 days. Homes over $1 million are taking closer to 35. Buyers have patience at the top of the market. They don't have any at the bottom. If you zoom way out on market temperature, we're still sitting closer to sellers' market territory than buyers, even with all this cooling. We're nowhere near the conditions that would flip this into a true buyer's market. Let me show you what that actually looks like in practice. Listings that are priced correctly from day one are going under contract in as little as 29 days. But listings that get pulled off the market after sitting too long, those are averaging 66 days before the seller finally gives up. That gap, 29 days versus 66 days, is basically the real cost of overpricing a home in this market. And it shows up in the success rate too. Right now, about 81% of listings in Pima County are successfully closing or going pending. That number was down in the low 70s back in 2023 and 2024. So listings are actually finding buyers more often than they were a couple years ago, as long as they're priced with the current market in mind, not last year's market. I had a seller a few months back who wanted to start high just to test it. 14 days of silence later, we adjusted the price to match what the data was actually telling us. And it went pending inside of 3 weeks. That gap between testing the market and pricing to the market is exactly what these numbers are showing you. So let's break down exactly what this means depending on which side of the table you're sitting on. If you're buying right now, you've got more breathing room than you've had in a couple years, more inventory, more negotiating power, and sellers who are already adjusting prices before you even have to ask. But don't confuse more room with no urgency. Anything priced right under $300,000 is still going in about 2 weeks. If you find something that checks your boxes at the right price, that's not the listing to sit on. This is also a good window to actually negotiate. Closing prices are coming in slightly under asking across most price points, which wasn't the case a couple years ago. If you're selling, the single biggest thing working against you right now isn't the market, it's an unrealistic list price. Half the listings out there are proving that by having to cut price mid-listing. You can avoid being part of that statistic by pricing to today's data from day one, not to what your neighbor sold for 18 months ago. The market is still rewarding well-priced homes with fast, strong offers. The demand hasn't disappeared, it's just gotten pickier. Let's actually put a number on that negotiating room I mentioned. Across Pima County right now, homes are closing about 1.5% under original asking price on average. That's held pretty steady for the past year. It's not some dramatic swing, but it is real room that didn't exist back in 2021 and 2022 when homes were routinely closing over asking. And it's not the same everywhere. In the sub $300,000 range, buyers are only getting about 1% under asking. That part of the market is still competitive, but once you're above $600,000, that gap widens to 2% or more under asking. So higher price points are where buyers actually have leverage right now. Here's the flip side, though. Of the homes that don't sell and get canceled instead of closing, the median time on market before a seller gives up is more than double what it is for homes that do close. That's not a market problem. That's almost always a pricing problem. So let's answer the two questions I get asked the most. Is now a good time to buy in Pima County? If you're buying, yes, you have more inventory, more negotiating room, and sellers who are motivated to work with you. Just don't expect that to mean no competition at all, especially under $300,000. Is now a good time to sell in Pima County? Also, yes, but only if you price it right from day one. The data is clear that well-priced homes are still selling fast and close to asking. The market isn't punishing sellers, it's punishing overpricing. So here's the bottom line. Whether you're buying or selling in Pima County, Tucson, Oro Valley, Dove Mountain, Marana, the county-wide numbers give you the big picture, but your specific street and your specific price point tell a different, more precise story. Subscribe so you catch next month's update. And if you want a breakdown for your neighborhood specifically, check the description box below. Because who you work with matters. Believe it.